In today's episode, we'll show you 10 mistakes to avoid when sculpting salon square nails. We'll talk about the correct and incorrect techniques when extending nails for this shape. The episode will also be packed with useful information for both beginners and advanced nail stylists.
Hi, this is Connie, and this is a channel dedicated to the art of nail styling. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the 10 mistakes to avoid when sculpting a square. Basically, what we shouldn't do. Let's get started.
The products and tools we'll use today are the 100 to 180 file, the 180 to 220 buffer, Indigo Cuticles bit number 9, 2-in-1 gel brush number 4, purple extension forms, acid-free primer, perfect base, and easy shape light rose gel, and tip top.
The square shape has been gaining in popularity at the salons for its comfort and its visually appealing aspects. The square shape 5 years ago and today are two different stories though. In the past, the manicure was very heavy. Now they're given more of a lifestyle character. But in order to sculpt a neat and nice square, you need to know the rules. And that's what today's episode is all about.
As usual, we start with disinfecting our hands, putting disposable gloves on and disinfecting our clients' hands. Now we're ready for work.
Today, we're working on a natural nail. Our model isn't wearing any product, so we'll show the whole manicure from A to Z.
We'll start by shortening the free edge of the natural plate. We should focus on the less coarse side for the natural plate. In our case, it's the one with the writing. We control the length and the shape of the natural plate. It should be a semicircle. Remember that the nail shouldn't be too short. In that case, applying the form comfortably would not be possible.
If your client has been wearing extensions for a long time and you're taking them off, keep in mind the hypernychium and don't damage it. The hypernychium is nothing more than an extended matrix. The white tip of the nail can be really treacherous, and that's why we should never buff it or cut it off deep. It's better to leave a few millimeters just in case something goes wrong.
It's worth turning the hand once in a while working from the top. Now it's time for the cuticles. We take a number 9 bit. Using a speed of 12,000 rotations, we remove the eponychium on the nail plate. We remove the cuticles in a sweeping motion. Now our nail tech is working with an ear file from left to right. We move on to buffing the plate. If we do notice that any of the areas of the nail are still shiny, we do need to prep them once again to make sure they're fully matte. We dust off any excess with a soft cupcake brush and wipe the nail plate with a cotton pad soaked in purple cleaner meticulously. Now, that's a nail prepped for the application of form and sculpting. We apply our acid-free primer onto the whole nail plate. We strain the excess against the bottleneck and apply a thin layer of the product as if we were using a regular nail polish. Then, using the gel brush number 4 to rub in our perfect base, we cure it in the lamp for 60 seconds.
Remember, perfect base should be rubbed in and not applied like a regular polish. As a result, we're able to keep a rough surface that will help us get the right grip for the upcoming layers of product. Now, let's talk about the mistakes. 1. A badly placed form at a wrong angle. Now, when we're shaping a square, we want the nail to run straight from the apex to the free edge.
The form that you see is directed downwards. When sculpting the nail with such a form, it's certain the nail will be pointing down. Another mistake when applying a form is directing it too much upwards. Then our sculpted nail will end up looking like a ski slope. Usually, we apply a form to sculpt a square straight. However, we need to remember that this method will be suitable for nails going downwards. Now, our model's free edge runs a little bit downwards, so we need to correct the position of the form and direct it slightly upwards. It's important to keep in mind that the apex and free edge of the sculpted nail are at the same level.
To do that, we need to look at our nail from the side. Think where the apex should be and at what height. Place the point on the form at the same level. For example, if you're extending up to point 3, place it at the same level that you visualized for where the apex is to be located. The more hilly and naturally crooked the nail, the more you need to move the form slightly higher. The more straight and even the nail, the more straight the form. Remember, never do it from memory. Always look at the nail and imagine what the nail will look like when it's finished. That's how you adjust the height and the angles.
We roll the form gently with our fingers and apply it to the free edge. We control the angle while doing it, both from the top and from the sides. At this stage, we must pay attention to the shape of the free edge of the natural nail. Now, we move on to mistake number 2. That is the incorrect adjustment of the form to the free edge. Here, you can see an appropriate angle of the form, but an incorrect adjustment to the free edge. There shouldn't be any free space between the nail and the form. The center of the opening of the form should be cut out to match the free edge. What does a form that is properly cut out look like? From the side and from the front, it's easy to spot that the free spaces have been eliminated. Mistake number 3 is a form that is badly pinched together at the base. That mistake will make the form turn in a certain direction. This is what a properly pinched form looks like. In mirror image, each leg of the base should be tightly stuck together. Mistake number 4 is a form that is badly pinched at the end. The form for square nails should be open. We don't form a tear shape at the end as the square would taper. A similar mistake is pinching the form all the way at the end. How to place a form appropriately from A to Z? Cut the form to match the nail folds. That method will make your work easier, but it isn't necessary to apply the form correctly. The cut should be done when you notice the nail folds tense the form up and pull it to the sides. We do the cuts at a 45-degree angle, freeing the fingertips. This is what a form that's been properly applied at all stages looks like. All the previously mentioned mistakes have been corrected. Now we move on to the mistakes connected with sculpting. Mistake number 5 is a badly executed foundation, that is the frame. The most important area of the frame is the line between the free edge of the natural nail and the form. That's why we need to apply the product evenly. If there's too little product on any of the sides, or we leave a free space between the free edge and the form, it means that the frame is done improperly and won't fulfill its function. As you can see in the video, the frame is too thin and definitely lacks product around the stress area. This is what an appropriately sculpted frame looks like. As you can see, the builder gel covers the entire surface of the line, linking the free edge to the form. While working on the frame, it's important to rub the product thoroughly around the natural plate.
Remember to spread the gel builder evenly also when sculpting the edges. Now, a good idea is to sculpt them slightly farther and add more gel instead of sculpting them evenly, only to see that there's too little product at the stage of pinching or filing. Now, mistake number 6, a frame that is too thick. This mistake is easily noticeable when working with a transparent frame and then sculpting with color. We'll simply file through, reaching the frame. It just doesn't look good.
By the book, the frame should be cured for 30 seconds. After that time, we delicately remove the form, applying pressure from the bottom. First, we detach the wings from the fingertips and then direct the form down. Never up to avoid spoiling the meticulously sculpted frame. With the help of a brush, we apply a small ball of gel to the natural nail and spread it around the entire surface, creating a slip layer. We then use a larger ball of product to create it. We put it on the natural nail, and using a pulsating movement, we push the gel towards the cuticles gently. When spreading the product, we work from left to right, gently stroking it with the brush. If we do run out of gel, we pick up the missing amount and finish sculpting along the entire length. At the final stage of our work, we place the brush vertically from the top and sculpt the upper arch with short and quick motions in a threading-like motion. Mistake number 7 is the incorrect anatomy of the upper arch apex. In square nails, the upper arch should run straight from the apex to the free edge. It can't be located above or below the free edge of the overlay, so it can't be too big or too small. Building the apex in the center of the nail is also incorrect. It should be located at around 1/3 of the nail length.
The apex is a very important element in the anatomy of a nail. If it is placed in the wrong spot, the whole construction loses its stability and unfortunately, we can expect the worst, a broken nail.
Once we've spread the gel properly, we place the hand in the lamp. Pinching takes place around 10 to 12 seconds later. However, we need to remember that the time depends on the power of our device.
What should be done before pinching? You definitely need to check if the builder is cured because you want to avoid the material flowing from underneath the nail and spoiling your work. So before you pinch the nail, you need to tap on the surface of the nail with something made of metal, a dotting tool, cuticle pusher, or crimper. Now, once you hear that characteristic sound, the nail is ready for pinching.
Mistake number 8 is an ill-formed tunnel. Not pinching the stress area or placing the nail with the crimper in the lamp will turn it into a V-shaped nail, and that's the method for almond nails. That's why you need to place the crimper slightly deeper when working on the stress area. We also recommend then replacing our crimper with an automatic one to keep a straight angle while pinching. We put the nail crimped that way for around 30 seconds into the lamp. If we pinch the nail too tight, the tunnel will be too narrow.
Pinching cannot be painful, which is why we need to communicate with our model, also during the pinching process.
We wipe our nail with wipe-off cleaner and then move on to sculpting the shape. Using the 100 to 180 file, we work on the side walls and the shape of the free edge. We file perpendicularly to ensure a straight line on the free edge of our square. Then we work on the area around our cuticles, gently moving the file along an arch to the right. Before we left the cuticles untouched to avoid cutting our model's skin when filing the shape. Mistake number 9 is the improper filing of the upper arch. If the upper arch is filed at an angle, the square will turn into a crooked shape. So how do we do it correctly? We place the file parallel from the top and use a zigzag motion to file along the upper arch, keeping a straight line. Then we move on to working on the remaining space. From the side edges to the apex, we file the nail on all sides to make the square maintain its straight angles. We place the file parallel to the nail and file from the sides to the apex, remembering to hold the file straight. This is what an appropriately filed upper arch and nail shape look like. Mistake number 10 is filing the edge too much. We don't hold the file at an angle, and we don't work with a semicircular motion when filing the nails. The edges will be properly done only when they're filed straight. They should be an extension of the natural plate, and the perfect tool to do that is the slim file that will fit into the space between the nail and the fingernail. We pick up the 180 to 220 buffer and smooth out the surface of the nail and the cuticles. We wipe the nail with a wipe soaked in wipe-off cleaner and gloss with tip top. Then cure in the lamp for 60 seconds. You can see 2 nails. One has a proper shape of a salon square, the other one is considerably longer and narrower. Its proportions have been clearly thrown out of balance.
And that brings us to the end of our episode. What do you think about square nails? Let us know in the comments. Do you like them? Do your clients ask for them? We'll see you next time.